What's poppin', y'all? This is Deidre with One Shot Game, man. You already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. Now, as I always say, you get two choices. The ability to faithfully settle with the life that has been set out for you, or the ability to pave a path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So before I get into the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. You guys are great. And even the ones behind the scenes, I see y'all too. So look, y'all know at the end of the day, I don't spit nothing but truth. And this has just come from observation and monitoring of all the things that I have been through in my life, right? And oftentimes, what happens in a world where you have one side who thinks a certain type of way, right? And then you have another side that thinks a different type of way. Now, it's the energy in the world, on the planet, that shifts this person's genetic makeup to where they become awoken to, you know what I'm saying, the energy that was pushing them into a certain way on who they had to be, but it was really damaging to their soul. You know what I'm saying? So people have to start to understand and realize and process, like, there are people in the world that had this ability, you know, to help people go back to their original state of who they were, right? So for me personally, I'm one of those people that understand a lot of content and, you know, what people push to evolve or grow or their products is on the internet, right? So I do a lot of my research on the internet, but I do split it up with normal human behavior, right? So I happened to come across this video today where I don't want to mention the rapper's name, but he was expressing how the fact that when you made it up in your mind that you get to a point in your life where you do not want to deal with someone, like you've got to a point in your mind to where this person has continuously backdoored you, betrayed you, and you just to a point where you've got it to your senses that you don't want to deal with that person anymore. Listen, I do understand that. I do. You know what I'm saying? But I guess for me personally, I beg to differ a little bit, you know, because of course y'all know, like, because of the content I put out, I've had a lot of back and forth situationships with my grandmother, you know, and I mention her a lot because she was the factor in my life that made me believe in love, but at the same time also get confused, right? Because she had been betrayed and backdoored so much, like her idea of what she thought love wasn't actually love to her, but at the same time it could have been the opposite to her. And I say that to say, like, she would think love is pointing out something that's a flaw in you and making you look at it continuously, repeatedly, over and over again, right? Even though the way she was moving was backwards, even though, you know what I'm saying, she could have been pointing something out that it wasn't even in relevance. It was just how she felt about who she was and what she was going through, right? But for me personally, I could never stray away from her. Like, I could, no matter what she put me through, no matter how many times she betrayed me, no matter how many times she made up scenarios just to try to, you know, get me to go back into a downward spiral, right? I could never just get to a point where I just completely walked away. You know what I'm saying? Now, understanding and realizing towards the end of her lifespan, you know, we got to a point where I wasn't interacting with her as far as in person, but I was doing it over the phone. you know. And we would have these conversations over texting, you know, and some of the things I would say, I would know for a fact it hit a nerve because she wouldn't respond. She was actually processing what I was saying, because it had some truth to it, and figuring out how the next day to respond to that. You know what I'm saying? And not only did that help build me up, it helped me not step back into letting anyone try to control my identity and who I am. Because I don't think a lot of people realize that there are people in the world that are love. They embody love, which is, you know what I'm saying, sometimes helping a person recognize where they are the problem, you know, so you can be able to fix that and be able to have relationships with people. You know what I'm saying? But it takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. It's like having a makeover. But you gotta stay consistent with the makeover. You know? Because if you're not, that person that comes with that makeover won't stay the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta really think about it in a way to where it makes logical sense. Like, for instance, you see a lot of people on the internet, right? Oh, like, they're doing things for this homeless person. They're giving him a haircut, you know what I'm saying? They're buying him some fresh clothes. Okay, that's cool. But if he's not focused on staying that way, I promise you, in a maybe 2 to 3 days, them clothes is not going to be no more. He gonna be done left him somewhere outside or sold him. The haircut is gonna be done vanished, and he's gonna return back to his original state. You know what I'm saying? So, like, sometimes I truly believe that when you get done with a person, leave them alone. But then it's like, I can't even agree with that, honestly, because everybody that I have interacted with, everybody that I had a bond with, everybody I've been in a relationship with, I really was feeling at some point or another, right? And sometimes you don't realize how much of an asset you are to somebody in waking them up to who they truly are. And sometimes that takes time of them being away from you, you know? Because again, like I said in the past video, I have somebody I truly love right now that's on the other side. No matter what, I cannot give up on this person. You know what I'm saying? Because of the simple fact that it's my child. You know what I'm saying? Listen, even though we just could not fuse together our relationship in the beginning, I had to process and realize where I was at and what I was doing in the first stages of her life. You know what I'm saying? And not giving up on myself to be able to still continuously push the ability for her to understand that I'm still your mother. You know what I'm saying? And we're split apart right now simply because whatever you need to learn, you got to learn it by yourself. Whatever I need to learn, I got to learn it by myself. Because when two people are so alike and they're continuously around each other all the time, and one may be spiritually more evolved than the other, they will clash a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because one is more spiritually evolved and one is not, but they're alike. They're the same people, kind of, but they're trying to figure out how one is more spiritually evolved and one is not, and they have a problem with looking at their own life. So what happens is it starts to become a competition, when really there is no competition. There is no competition between your family, your kids, you and your kids. You know what I'm saying? There is no competition. I want my daughter to be better than me. I am not competing with her in no shape, way, or form, baby. You know what I'm saying? But because of my wisdom and guidance that I've learned in my life, I'm going to give it to you in a way where I know you don't know it. I know you don't know it because you haven't lived long enough to know it. But if that person is embarrassed because you're more spiritually evolved than they are, they'll make it seem like they know. when really they don't know. But that don't mean you stop telling them. You know what I'm saying? You still give them the raw, uncut, because whether they may look like they're going against it with you, they're really processing, you know what I'm saying, that information. And you can tell by their actions. You know what I'm saying? But again, like I said, it takes time. You know, I am just the type of person that I can't give up on the people that I shared a bond with, that I cared about, that I love. You know what I'm saying? But I also realize that sometimes the distance is necessary for us to be able to fully realize who we are and get to an understanding where there's nothing wrong with getting wisdom or taking guidance from people who may be a little bit more spiritually involved than you. You know what I'm saying? You cannot disrespect them or go in competition with them simply because your spirit is embarrassed that it's not evolved at that person's rate like it's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay though, because even though you're on your own timeline, imagine how much wisdom and guidance you can learn by just being around someone and not rejecting them, not disrespecting them, not going against what they say, because whether you want to admit it to yourself or not, you could be learning from them. You know what I'm saying? But if you make that person or those people feel like they're a burden or they're a target, they're going to completely shut down. And whatever you thought you was learning from them, they're not going to let you have free access to it now. Even though you know it's improving you. Even though you know it's helping your growth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to really think about it. There are so many people in life who don't know the true meaning of love. All they know is that love means you got to click up with someone to get something from them. And no matter how you got to get it, even if you got to be evil, just make sure you get it. That's not love. You actually spiritually robbing somebody's identity to feel validated in yourself. You know what I'm saying? It should no way or shape or form ever feel like that. You get me? So, oftentimes, like, I get to a point in my life where I do get fed up with people, right? And I push them to the side. Not in a bad way, because I always have hope that they're going to change and come back. I don't know what it is about me and why I feel like that, but I do. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's not going to happen microwave fast. You know what I'm saying? Because change doesn't work like that. But I always leave the door open. You know what I'm saying? For them to come back. And granted, we may never have the bond that we originally established, but to know that you awoken to yourself and who you are, I can never shut the door on you, because at some point, I rocked with you. You know what I'm saying? At some point, I loved you. I still love you and care about you, right? I want you to do better. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to do bad in life. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if we see each other every day or we don't. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you will come to your senses enough to know who you are, to be like, you know what? This person don't want nothing but the best for me. But they have to push away and grow on their own, because them wanting the best for me and me not wanting the best for myself is killing them. You know what I'm saying? So until I start to realize who I am and the things that I do, I cannot be around this person, because I'm spiritually draining who they are. You get me? And that's critical. You know what I'm saying? You got to know that about yourself. But again, there are so many people that just feel like people can't change, or you just have to distance yourself from certain people because, you know what I'm saying, the way that they are. And sometimes life is never promised to nobody tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I would never want to leave this earth knowing that I could have healed something with somebody. It just took them a little time to get to realize that they are the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have to fix who they are to come back into my life. Doesn't mean that we actually had a certain type of falling out where we're so angry at each other that something happened tomorrow and I leave this earth mad at someone for no other reason. Like, you got to understand, these are the things that's not talked about. So many people pass away and people have this grief of, you know what I'm saying, I shoulda, coulda, woulda did this. You shoulda, coulda, woulda did nothing if people take the time to actually figure out, like, your energy could be a mirror, which means however you feel about yourself, you know what I'm saying, could be the reason why you're projecting this energy onto other people, and they're reflecting back to you exactly the parts of you that you're refusing to look at. You know what I'm saying? That, listen, let me tell you something. And that is what puts people in a state of mind to where they think people can't change. Because you got to think, if people never realize that there's a problem, you're projecting this energy for centuries, years sometimes. And people be just really going through life thinking that this person is this type of way. You know what I'm saying? Can't never change, can't never grow. But you don't want to even understand that you're the problem, and you're reflecting back your energy of how you feel onto this person. So when this person comes around you, they're reflecting how you deeply feel about yourself, but don't want to acknowledge it to you. So now you're projecting how you think this person is never going to change. I beg to differ. You know what I'm saying? I believe people can change if people actually have the ability to work on themselves. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm a different breed. Always have been, always will be. And I'm just not satisfied with growing up knowing that, you know what I'm saying, I have this permanent beef with my daughter. Like, I don't know what it is growing up in my era, but the moms always have a beef with the daughters. And I think that's just because they don't feel like they could be who they were because of the beef they had with they moms. Which is just the energy and what they didn't heal reflected back to you. And you have to think for a minute and be able to step out of that and be like, okay, look, whatever she went through painted her to be that way. You know what I'm saying? I have to recognize she didn't just turn that way. Something happened, she turned that way, and she don't know how to change or grow. That doesn't mean I have to stay like that. You know what I'm saying? I can choose to be able to grow and be able to heal. And it may be away from that person, but you can love them from a distance. You know what I'm saying? Until that healing is be able to heal. For instance, sometimes when you have, like, I've had hairline fractures in my life. And they hurt, you know what I'm saying? But I had to wear like a boot or a cast until it healed. But once it healed, I was back in the field. You know what I'm saying? But you got to think of how strong the narrative be pushed to keep the darkness flowing, that people don't believe that people can actually heal. For instance, let's just use a lot of the dark male masculine energy that has this vendetta against true love and healing because they're so in the dark. You know what I'm saying? And just think about it like this. When you're criminalized, you're told you're this way, you're told you're never gonna be nothing, you know what I'm saying? You're told you're useless in life, right? Now, your threat for survival comes into play, right? You do something to, you know, survive, get money, whatever. You go to jail. It's a felony. You go to prison. You know what I'm saying? You get out of prison, they tell you, oh, you can't get a job because you're a felon, this, that, and the third. So it automatically pushes you back into this mindset because you have so many, you know what I'm saying, dark energies that are telling you you can't be better, you can't grow, you can't change. I beg to differ. You know what I'm saying? You can if you really focus and put your mind to it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I've said this in the past video, but I was a felon and I just went for this job. You know what I'm saying? I just went for it. Listen, there was nothing anybody could tell me. So what? You know what I'm saying? That was a mistake. Whatever happened, I went. I'm trying to be better in my life. So I'm going to go for this job. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I was off-roaded for a little bit because they had to think. And then once they thought about it, they hired me back on, right? So it's almost as if, like, you got to really truly believe in yourself and understand that the growth is within you. You know what I'm saying? And once I did that, I started telling everybody, don't let that derail you. Don't let someone telling you you can't get a job as a felon derail you if you really want to change. You know what I'm saying? Because that's false. It's not real. It's fake. It's just what they want you to believe. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm hoping that a lot more people are taking that serious, especially if you've never worked before and all you've done is be a hustler on the streets and you keep seeing that you keep going back to jail over and over again And the more you keep going back, the less people support you. Yeah, because it's starting to get tiring of you being stuck in that same cycle. You know what I'm saying? It's now time for you to grow and change. And the only way that you can do that is by believing and trusting in yourself. You know what I'm saying? But just think about it. How many men in life get derailed in life and pushed back into doing criminal activity because so many outlets are cut off from them after they go to prison or go to jail? Now, granted, they didn't have to do what they did, but what if that's the only thing that they knew? You know what I'm saying? They didn't know no better. So sometimes it takes just the ability to have that little bit of encouragement to focus and go in a different direction. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people tend to be fake. Like, you believe and trust in someone, and you know what I'm saying, they're telling you the right thing, but then they fail at it. You know what I'm saying? They go through something in life that completely make you debunk everything they said. So now you don't got no faith or trust in nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's real like that. This is something that is really, truly honest. You know what I'm saying? And so, again, you have to get tested in life before I feel like people actually start to really trust in you, especially when your trust has been gone. Like, for example, my baby, I know she knows that I care about her and love her, but she's tested me over and over again to, like, see, like, listen, I gave my trust up in believing in somebody truly loving me, and now you're gonna have to prove it. And every time she reaches out to me and she notices I'm the same person, I'm not letting up, it encourages her to build her trust up. You know what I'm saying? To believe in something after going through such a dark period in life where no one was able to be trusted. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like I said, nothing in life is worth having if you don't have nobody to share it with. I don't give a fuck about nobody preaching, oh, be alone and do this and do that. Okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? And you may present to people how getting all this money alone and by yourself is cool, but you don't show when you go home at night. You don't show when, you know what I'm saying, you're alone. You don't show how, like, a lot of men are right now currently trying to get female attention. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you got to wake up and realize, like, I really, in some shape or way or form, need that energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's the same for women needing male energy. And, like, whatever you choose to date or talk to. Like me, I'm standing on what I like. You know what I'm saying? But again, I'm not in offense to thinking that no one wants to be around me or talk to me. I'm actually understanding now that healing means everybody has to go away from me. You know what I'm saying? To be able to process who they are, to be able to come back. Otherwise, you're going to degrade who I am. You know what I'm saying? And lower who I am. And honestly, like, whether people admit it to you or not, they really care. You know what I'm saying? But they don't want to show people that side of them because, again, they've been portraying so much in the world. Love it, get you killed. Don't show your emotions. Got to be this, that, and the third. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But how about just being yourself? I'm still myself. It's just I know when to pull back my energy and when to give it out. You know what I'm saying? When I feel like someone is me, like I feel like you wanted me, I feel like I could be myself. But if I feel like you out here just trying to target my essence and energy, you're not going to get this version of me. You're going to get somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And that person go turn up the motherfucking heat. Why? Because you're in the mode of using people. You're in the mode of still operating in darkness. I promise you, when that energy gets to a point where it fully dies, it's either the world is going to be dead or people are going to start waking up and realizing, like, treat people how you want to be treated. Because there are some places out here and where I'm from that have, they got action. They don't look like their business is shutting down anytime soon, simply because they're actually kind people in there. You know what I'm saying? They treat people how they want to be treated, regardless of what you look like, what you have, what you don't have. You know what I'm saying? And those, to be honest, those are the people I tip. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going into some place and I'm involving myself with their service, and I know for a fact that you're not faking, this is really you, I'm going to tip. You know what I'm saying? Because you made me feel like a human. Otherwise, if I don't feel like that, I'm not spending no money in here. I'm not going to this business putting no money in this people's pocket if I know that you look down on other people because of where you at or what you got. Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? And again, understanding, when you do that, people start to realize how we need each other's energy to survive, how we need each other's energy to make the world go round. Otherwise, it doesn't go round. It's simple. You know what I'm saying? It's not that hard. It's basic. You know what I'm saying? So, just going back to this person and the topic that they were talking about when you're done with someone, leave them over there. I believe that, but then in a sense, I don't. Like, I'm more towards leaning towards I don't believe in that. Because if I believe that my child is just going to be who she is, you know what I'm saying? That means I would be okay with never establishing a connection with her ever again. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely not. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? That is my world. That is my only kid. You know what I'm saying? I just believe that she needs to heal away from me because we're so similar. You know what I'm saying? And when she actually realizes who she is, then we can have an ability to form a true love connection. But I'm not giving up. You know what I'm saying? I can't. Because giving up on her would mean I would give up on myself. Giving up on myself would mean I would give up on everybody that has faced this battle in their life. Especially people in my family. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand or can even process how people can be family and just don't see each other or talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? And pinpoint how this person is such a nuisance to the family simply because they have the ability to carry an energy where, you know what I'm saying, they speak true. You know what I'm saying? They know who they are, but they're so giving the energy of down talking and making them feel less than that they don't feel comfortable enough to be themselves. And it turns them into something that they don't want to be. You know what I'm saying? So again, anybody I had a relationship with, anybody I was in love with, anybody I've been around, I don't give up on them. You know what I'm saying? The door is open. I can't help it. That's who I am. I always leave the door open for these people, hoping that they come back as a new version. I'm not focused on it. I'm not concentrating on it. I'm going to still live my life. But if you decide that, you know what I'm saying, you want to walk back through the door, it's open. You want to know why? Because it's something and traits about you that I admire, which is the reason why I even clicked up with you in the first place. And it's traits about me that you admire as well. You know what I'm saying? Which is why we ever connected in the first place. So imagine what that would do together. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to control nobody. I don't have time for it. It's too draining to try to get somebody to operate and think and be who you want them to be in life. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. My door is open for you to be yourself. You either gonna take the time to grow, you know what I'm saying, or you're not. Simple. You know what I'm saying? Because people gotta understand sometimes what a person is and what they embody, can't nobody else give that to you but them. They're their own person. You know what I'm saying? You listen. That's not my downfall, because I'm strong enough to know now that you cannot come back in unless you do the work. There's no time for geeking and playing and thinking, oh, time lapse, I'm just going to come back in and be this same version. No, I'm going to be the same person every time you speak to me. And the moment I see or feel you are still that same person, I will cut off all communication. But at the same time, like I said, when you really care and love somebody, you'll replay thoughts and things and adventures and memories over and over in your daily life. And you'll think like, damn, I really care about this person. But it's something in you that would have to shift for you to actually recognize, like, damn, maybe I might be the problem. Maybe I might be the problem on why this person doesn't want to be around me. And sometimes that takes a self-reflection, which sometimes takes months, which sometimes takes years. You know what I'm saying? But like I said before, I don't care how much money I get. I don't care how successful I become, or, you know, just becoming and being me in life. I don't want to have no bad vibes with anybody, especially people that I love. You know what I'm saying? When you're a part of a certain family, it's a reason why you're born into that family. You know what I'm saying? Because you're meant to do something to, you feel me, help them look at things a certain type of way. And it sometimes it sucks to be you, but when you finally know who you are, it's great to be you. You know what I'm saying? Again, like I said before, both of my parents are still alive. They gave me life. Without them hooking up and being attracted to each other, I wouldn't even be here. You know what I'm saying? So us just completely not speaking to each other for the rest of our life is insane to me. Life too short. You know what I'm saying? And some people's pride just keep them stuck in a place where they don't want to admit that you became everything they weren't. You know what I'm saying? You are everything that they didn't become in life. And it takes getting to a point where they release that pride to where they're able to, you know what I'm saying, look at you for who you are. You feel me? You may not become everything you want in life due to your own judgments, but you everything to me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to acknowledge where you are. You feel me? In life, because I value you as a person. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully we can grow together. You know what I'm saying? Period. Simple. So I do believe people can change. I do believe people can grow. You know what I'm saying? It just may not be with you all the time. But the way the universe has it set up right now is you just never know who you could run into, who, you feel me, your wisdom or your guidance could help. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. So don't be ashamed of who you are. Don't be ashamed. Don't hold back. Don't let nobody trick you out of who you are, because maybe you could be the light to a very dark universe. And it wakes people up to realize the truth and what really matters. And it's not money. You know what I'm saying? So listen, if you don't know what it is, I just told you. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.